With 2021 came the release of Pokémon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, and with them, a potential payoff to a sort of hype almost never seen otherwise in the Pokémon fanbase. Live streams counting down the days, and the constant speculation as to the quality or existence of these games both serve to highlight the sheer anticipation fans had long before the reveal of BDSP. The games that would become BDSP had been conceptualized and reconceptualized again and again by fans countless times over, with varying changes to available Pokemon, pacing, story beats, musical compositions, and more. But the few things that remained unilaterally the same were the inclusion of content featured in Pokemon Platinum, as well as an update to the modern visual style of Pokemon's then current region. Naturally, the Sinnoh remakes, predated by an ocean of hype, needed to be everything that fans wanted. They were not. Complaints were immediately leveraged on Twitter, some slamming the graphics, plenty complained about the return to random encounters, others would lament that the routes hadn't been made more akin to those in Sword and Shield. On top of all that, a layer of uncertainty permeated the reveal as it was found that Ilka Software was developing the game, not Game Freak, as Game Freak was currently developing Pokemon Legends Arceus. Without a doubt, the reveal was a catastrophe, but there was still time to recover for the Pokemon Company. Over the next 9 months, new trailers and information would be revealed that proved promising. The graphics were updated substantially, proving the first trailer to be showcasing an earlier build, as well as new and old features exhibited, such as the updated Underground and Poffin Baking minigame. I have played the original Diamond and Pearl at least twice each, and Platinum about 6 times between my time as a child and Nuzlocke I've played since. But this isn't to say that I want it to be basically a port of those games to the Nintendo Switch. Absolutely not. There are plenty of things about those games that I'm not entirely a fan of and would prefer they change. Upon immediately opening the game, you're thrown in instantly. The typical cycle begins. Go to your rival's house, go into the tall grass, get a Pokemon, go see the professor. Yeah, the most painfully slow part of this game. I recall thinking that the similar slowness at the beginning of the game was a bad omen, as I was hoping beyond hope that the pacing would be fixed, if nothing else, as it was in Platinum, as the slowness of Gen 4's story is frankly the worst part of it. If it were faster, people would like these games a lot more. I chose Piplup because there are no raccoon starters, and because Piplup is my favorite of the 3. The beginning of the game is standard fare, and it takes a while to get into any form of action, much like the original. If it had been 15 years at this point to read reviews the more malleable parts of the game and change things around, then why is it still the same? Much of these complaints remain for the rest of my playthrough. The story was about the same as before, albeit significantly more difficult to take seriously, because literally every other model in this game looks better than Cyrus's chibi model, so none of the story hits very hard because he just kinda looks dumb. Topic of the chibi models, I guess that they're okay. I would have preferred an update of the scale of the game, which would have taken the chibis with it, akin to ORS's update to Gen 6's style, but I suppose that's faulting the game for what it didn't do, which isn't entirely fair. A lot of the areas in the game look as good to traverse as they did on the Nintendo DS, which is a compliment, but I can't shake the feeling that looking as good in a different way or otherwise to a 15-year-old game, it's not a compliment, it's not a good thing. We should be better, we should not be as good as something 15 years old. Battling is the same as it's ever been, just with a greater emphasis on friendship as a game mechanic. Now, Pokemon you've used a significant amount will survive attacks through willpower, or land crits where they otherwise wouldn't have. This is a relatively welcome addition in my opinion, as the Sinnoh region has a significant number of Pokemon that evolve through friendship, so the effort you put into evolving them isn't lost immediately following their evolution. This also allows for battles to be somewhat tougher in the late game, as they expect that your Pokemon may do something lucky to counteract bad play. Do I entirely agree with this design philosophy? Not really, but I like that the Elite Four and Champions teams are largely unchanged for ease. Instead, Cynthia is harder than her 2006 counterpart. Her Garchomp is as scary as ever, and now its ability is Rough Skin instead of Sandveil, making her just that much scarier. It can and will sweep your team in an instant, which I'm very glad to see return. A quick tip, if you send in a Garchomp, Cynthia will react by sending a Lucario, which you can read and use Earthquake on if you're smart. She'll then likely send in Melodic to use Ice Beam, which would be 4 times weak on your Garchomp that you just sent in, which is when you swap out to the Pokemon that you want to sweep the rest of her team with, which hopefully you've managed to lure out that Lucario pick early so you can set up and sweep the rest of her team with ease and hopefully have a lot of backup in case something goes wrong. In my case, it was a Gardevoir with an X speed and like 8 Calm Minds that I used to sweep the rest of her team. Because I knew that my team would not be able to handle the Garchomp because it has coverage for everything. Dragon Claw will just sweep everything, Earthquake will sweep everything that Dragon Claw can, and if you have a Fairy type, it will use, I believe it was Cross Poison? No, it might have been Poison Jab, but regardless, you want to get your sweeper set up. So if you're still only using like attacking moves, you might want to change that just for this fight specifically. I'd never used an X item before, but this fight I decided that an X speed was the way to go because the Garchomp is just that scary. It really is. One of the largest overhauls found in BDSP was that of the Underground. I did not almost ever participate in the Underground in the originals as I felt it was devoid of interesting content. The same is not true here, as this is a Gen 8 game. Some small iteration of the wild area has been found in the Underground, in the form of various rooms with rare and powerful Pokemon to fight and capture. These Pokemon always scale to your level upon entering the Underground, so you'll always be grinding effectively. And best of all, no random encounters. Walk into the Pokemon you want to battle and be good to go, provided you find anything that isn't a Geodude. I found that the updated Underground with its new Pokemon and streamlined grinding to be a double-edged sword. On one hand, with Pokemon like Houndoom available, no longer are players required to use Rapidash or Infernape as their only possible fire types in the main game, and the Pokemon present can give players plenty of team variety to work with very early on, which I feel is one of the biggest strengths of BDSP. The Underground and varied set of available Pokemon route to route allows players to build a team they're interested in playing with themselves. I made it a point to try not to use the typical Sinnoh team, and I feel like I did well to not fall into that trap. I used Empoleon, Gardevoir, Crobat, Toxicroak, Garchomp, and Luxray. But along the way I tried out several Pokemon I hadn't before, like Roserade and Lopunny, and I found that I really like poison types. Normally Ghost is my forte, and Gengar's my favorite Pokemon, but poison types really grew on me this time. Toxicroak is a new favorite for sure. However, adversely, spending any amount of time in the Underground whatsoever will overlevel your team, making any need to build a team null and void, as your Pokemon will be strong enough that you can just one-shot anything anyway, until the Elite Four and Champion at least. Playing around with team building was likely my favorite part of BDSP, because the threat of grinding doesn't exist where the Underground is concerned. You could theoretically catch a completely different team for the next gym at any time, because they're all at level automatically. I liked this a lot, and I spent a fair amount of my playthrough in the Underground for this reason, just exploring different builds, swapping out Pokemon, or just grinding levels for evolutions. I feel as though throughout this review, every little thing in this game that is a feature not immediately related to battling is both good and bad. The Poketch is pretty much useless now. Pokemon walking with you, it's missable, and it looks weird because not all the Pokemon are scaled super well all the time, so it just kind of looks a little odd. TMs are a truly interesting case because you can hold more than one again, cool, and you have plenty of variety of your TMs, that's also really cool, but they're breakable again, which has not been a thing since the last Gen 4 games. That was changed in Gen 5, the generation after the remake of this game, like the original version of this game. It just doesn't make sense to me. Despite all of this, however, frankly, all of the complaints I've listed didn't really get in the way of my enjoyment of Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl as an experience. I know I might be falling for the nostalgia bait here, but I really liked being in Sinnoh again, and the story, albeit long, is fun, and I enjoyed playing it. I liked battling and building my teams and just playing a Pokemon game again. While BDSP may not be the game I would recommend to anyone who is looking to get into the series for the first time, as there are frankly better Pokemon games that have come out even just between the originals and these games, as someone who enjoys the simple act of partaking in Pokemon, I was entertained by BDSP. and I can't really bring myself to call it a bad game. Is it an innovative game? Not in the slightest. Is it a large game? No, not really. Is it Pokemon? Yes. Yes, it is. It's lame to excuse its issues on the basis of, oh, I'm a Pokemon, but I had fun, and while I can step back and say this, and this are wrong with BDSP, I can't in good faith say they were game-breaking issues, because the game is still fun. It's still Pokemon, and Pokemon is fun, and they're solid games. It just isn't a very good Pokemon game. BDSP highlights a series of larger issues with the Pokémon franchise: a lack of innovation, skating on fans' interests, lower effort per game, no reason to have more than one version anymore, the problems with a yearly release schedule, and the stagnation of new content. Everything in this game highlights these issues upon further inspection, and it makes me wonder, did we need these remakes? I know that the hype was insane. You had Furret walking on a treadmill for like years at a time, but did Furret need to walk on the treadmill for years at a time? Did we need these games? Because the old ones are pretty good. Like I've said, I've played them, 10 times over between versions? Maybe more? I've started them plenty times, but finished about 10. Since playing BDSP, I played about half of Pokemon Platinum again, and I can confidently say, no, we didn't. The Sinnoh games are 15 years old at this point, going on 16. They hold up well on the original hardware too. It's not like they look bad or anything. It's not like we're talking about Gen 1 here. If what is effectively a new version of the same game in 3D is going to cause such a hilariously large backlash, then what's the point of making it? There's no point to the existence of BDSP outside of being a modern mainline Pokemon release. In many ways, if BDSP was just going to be its Pokemon, then why not divert the resources of Ilka Software with Game Freak to help make Legends Arceus better? My final thoughts on the matter are as follows. As a fanbase, while we may have wanted Sinnoh remakes, we did not need them, and especially not in this state. The game is fun, as it is Pokemon at the end of the day, and it performs the very basics of being a Pokemon game correctly. However, so do the originals, and they do them without the nagging thought of 15 years for this. Should you play Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl? Do you have a 3DS or otherwise DS system? Do you own Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, or Platinum? If you answered yes to these questions, then no, you don't need to. Just go play those. You'll get essentially the same experience, unless you're a real stickler about 3D versus 2D. And if you've answered no to these questions, then you can if you want to, if you really want to, but you might get an equally pleasant experience from emulating Pokemon Platinum. Hello, thank you for joining me on this review, and now in the text void. My name is Pinch. Thank you very much for watching along with me. I had a lot of fun making this video, and this is the first video I'm doing with my VTuber model. I really hope you enjoy it. I really hope you enjoyed it, rather, and I intend to make a lot more content soon. I did get a lot of the means by which to actually make content out of the way now. I've upgraded my setup and everything, and I'm having a lot of fun making videos again, so hopefully the next one will not take a minimum of 3 months to make. Would love it if it came out in the next month. Thank you very much. If you like my content, please consider watching my other video. It doesn't have the model, so if you want to look at my cute face constantly, then you're kind of out of luck there. But I'm sure that there will be more soon. Follow me on Twitter at PinchRaccoon. Thank you very much. I hope you have a wonderful day.